Hello YouTube, and welcome back. I think maybe last time I was here I was working on this side. This side's pretty much done, and now I'm working on the other. Why? Why, you ask? So that I can maximize the tiling. So I can have rocks that can fit together side by side, but I could also overlap them in interesting ways. And you could flip them one of two sides, you know, just adds for more variation. One of the things I want to figure out is how to make these two lines not look like perfect finger length thingies. I already broke up, like they used to actually go out longer, and I think I just need to keep retracting that to some degree. I have to be careful because if I carve too much on one side, I can break through onto the other, but don't think that's going to be the case here. The worst part of this is hitting the hot glue, which doesn't like to just slice easily. Okay. So that definitely helps. Does it solve the problem? Another thing I can do is actually add some down in there to, again, break up that very straight flat finger hole. Now on this one, it has a very fingery shape on this side that accomplishes that. I'm trying to find where it has some more latitude for change. I think on this side, you can probably dig in there pretty significantly. Garthor, hello, how are you doing? Streak of quartz in the slate. I do like rocks that have like inclusions and veins of other minerals and stuff. It's always cool looking. I don't know if I can make that read on a, a black and white, with no paint on it, can you get that across? I mean, I'm trying to think if I did black and white on this so that even here, like, the color differentiation is just like leaching chemicals coming out. I don't know if I have any good reference of inclusions in the rock. I guess these are like different, you know, this darker layer there and there and there. It's kind of like that, but yeah, exactly. One will be harder than the other. Very rare for two different rocks to have identical erosion speeds. Hey, Fizz. Yeah, you know what? I started working on some map icons, and I was watching Noah Gervais's latest video about Fallout, the Fallout series, and is it really not focused? Looks focused to me. Yeah, and they were going through an environment in Fallout 2, I think, that had some interesting cliff walls, and that just got my cliff excitement levels raised too high, and I was like, dude, I really want to get these done and proven. Which also reminds me, I wanted to do, as part of proving this concept, I wanted to do some accoutrement rock pieces that could like stick on in various areas. Oh, I think I just figured out what's wrong with my 3D printer. I've been messing with it for like 2 weeks now. I keep like taking all this advice from people on the forums and stuff, and like nothing is working. Um, Finally, I disassembled it down to the bottom screen and actually pulled off the tape around the screen. And one of the corners was like, it was like moved up just enough where it like was barely like over the lip there. So I swear I was super focused on not, you know, having it really centered when I built it. So I kind of had that not, or when I did the upgrade. So I didn't really have that in my realm of like likelihoods to be the problem. But man, I should have started there. I won't know yet. I got to do a, you know, test run, and I'm not going to do it while I'm in the garage. But hopefully tomorrow I will know if that was the issue. Yeah, so it was just like not. I think it explains why I was getting these weird flappy doodles. It's because it would get it on the sheet, but because the surface wasn't like perfectly aligned with the glass. Let's see, this would have been, no, this would, I don't know. In my mind, I can imagine a reason that how it would cause that flappy doodle, but clearly not enough to say it out loud, which means I probably don't actually understand it. I'm just hoping, okay, fingers crossed this was the issue. Sonic pad? What is a sonic pad? I saw you got that that rubber pad thing for catching the resin, which I have one of those. I don't know where it is. Screen that runs firmware called Clipper. Okay. I still have no idea what it actually is, though. Is it software, or is it... Oh, it's a screen that runs a firmware. Okay. So you like... Do you attach it to the printer? Speed up printing, but keep the quality. I do not understand what it actually does, but I like the idea of speeding up your printing and quality. Okay. Ow! Maybe I need to start at the bottom. I keep doing this thing where I totally grab my, like, right there. That's a nice little blade to scrape my knuckles across. It's super nice. Yeah, I should really get a knuckledectomy. Just get rid of those suckers. They cause me nothing but pain. Oh, it's a great way to get little flakes of stuff all in my clothes and hair and face and nose. Cool. I was wondering how to efficiently do that. Now I know. thinking this flattened sheets on foil technique is, well, except for the very first test I did, where I got some pretty interesting textures. Everything else I've done, I just have to end up doing so much manual fixie work over it that I just don't think it's worth it. The only thing I will say about it is that because it does put in these creases, it provides like some randomized sort of suggestions that I can take or leave. So I could just easily just completely scrape them off if I don't like them. But I welcome any randomization in here because it forces my brain to think a little bit differently. And that's the sort of thing that can produce happy accidents. Anyone got any fun plans for the 3-day weekend? Besides, of course, watching the World Building Twitch stream with me and my mom on Sunday. Except for that, of course, because I assume everyone in the world is doing that. Change a starter. Ooh, that sounds exciting. And play a little Bush George III. Or does that stand for Boy George III? I'm not sure. Could be either. Or is it Boy George cubed? I think Boy George is still around and doing stuff. That's a good idea for their next album. Boy George cubed. How far along are you into Boy George cubed? I hear it can take like hundreds of hours to be. Like you're still in the boy stage, you haven't got to the George stage yet. Weird beast. Oh. It's multiplayer? I didn't know that. Organic Silver Moon Designs. Hello. Well, thank you. Thank you so kindly for those kind words. Just to catch you up, this is the rough stage of the latest cliff that I'm working on. This is a side that is almost done. And so I'm in the process of taking the rough side to the less rough side. Tell me, what kind of work do you create at Organic Silver Moon Designs, LLC? No, LLG. Paint and you want to sculpt. Cool. I remember vividly when the Nintendo 64 came out. My first experience with it was seeing a kiosk at Toys R Us. And you could play around in the water level. And I just remember it being such a, like, mind-blowing and, like, what even is the word for that? Like, almost a transcendent experience. Like, the music, the awe of seeing the sublime, like, at the time, 3D graphics and environment and everything. It was amazing. No, I was actually a grown man at the time, but didn't keep me from going into Toys R Us. Also, I had young kids at the time, so. I had good reasons to go into Toys R Us. Well, actually, let's see, what did I have? I probably had a baby at that time. Justin was probably a baby. What year was that? Was that 96, 97? All right, have a good pop walk, Fizz. Yeah, I think Justin was a baby because I remember, I feel like I couldn't afford to buy it, and the reason was because, you know, I had to buy diapers and stuff. Played the original Pong, yeah. The first game that I really got into was Space Invaders. My dad had scored a cocktail table? Is that what they were called? It was a sit down, you know, instead of the cabinet that you stand up, it's like a table that you put your cocktail drinks on. We lived in Japan at the time, and the arcades, rather than fixing faulty equipment, it would just toss it in the dumpster in the back, and the GIs from the base would would cruise around and retrieve and fix, well, when they could, fix the cabinet and then sell them for cheap. So I actually had an arcade Space Invaders when I was very little, probably like 4 or 5 years old. That was in Nam. Yeah. So you were a military brat like me, huh? You're born on November 11th. I don't know the significance of November 11th. What's the significance of that? I was born on 4/20, which is only significant for marijuana and the sharing a birthday with Hitler. I don't think me and Hitler have much in common. I guess we both try to be artists, so there's that. Oh, that's Veterans Day. Okay. Shows what a good military brat I am. Don't even remember that. Thing One and George Takei, those are also born on 4/20. You're a programmer, okay. And Dragon Con. I've never been to Dragon Con. Someday I want to go once I have all my Tales from Talifar dioramas and merchandise and stuff to sell. I really want to do the convention circuit. Was it that you couldn't afford to travel there, or you couldn't afford the cost of the booth? Because, yeah, some of those conventions, they charge a lot to have a booth there. I have friends who used to go down to San Diego Comic-Con and like split a booth. I want to say like 8 ways. That's the only way they could afford it. They're all just packed in a little like 1 foot of table space. Yeah, there's a local one by me that I went to every year for like 15 years in a row, called NorwestCon. That was very much like that. It was, you know, by the people for the people. They always were pretty reasonably priced. And, you know, they were pretty small. But I like that small, you know, family atmosphere. I live in Carmel, California. That's true. It's just kind of the assumption. I definitely would not want to go back to those times. I'm sure there were some advantages, but I really like everyone sort of having the freedom to chart their own course without having quite as many expectations automatically put on them. Cool. Sounds like we have a lot in common. I also have been watching my videos for years, so. Let's see, do I want to leave that roundy bit, or do I want to just, yeah, that's what I want to do. Your name is Lydia. All right. Your name is not actually Organic Silver Moon Designs. That would be a long, awkward name, so I'm glad to hear it. Why don't you post a link to your channel so I can, I can't watch it right now, but I could load it up, have it on my computer. I'll leave you a like and a comment. Maybe even a subscribe. Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, that's the way to do it. I was just watching a YouTube video on my TV earlier today. I'm on the TV. Am I a TV star? Hi, Mom. Josh Foreman, famous cat entertainer. Cats do love me, and I think it's because they know that I'm allergic to them. Cats and dogs both. I'm allergic to both of them, and they both love me. Yeah, the OBS is the program that you use to take the signal from your camera and package it up and send it to wherever you're streaming to, whether that's Twitch or YouTube or whatever. Although most of these places also let you do it just straight from your phone, which is a lot easier than using OBS, but the beauty of the OBS obviously is that you can have multiple cameras going into it. You can have, like I have, the slideshow and all sorts of other fun stuff going on. Yeah, if you're just starting out, start out with your phone. Get the rest of the stuff figured out. And because OBS is definitely, well, I'll just say for me it was challenging. I'm not a particularly technically savvy person, even though I professionally work on video games for the last 27 years. Somehow I have still managed to avoid being technically savvy for all those years. And OBS is very hard for me to get my head around. All right, have some good Baldur's Gate time, Garthor. Good luck fighting the goblins. Yeah, I pretty much, well, the computer that I stream upstairs on, even though it's pretty old at this point, it was very powerful when I got it, and it still seems to do okay most of the time, unless I have a massive Photoshop or ZBrush file open. And then streaming down here, this computer's literally just for streaming. Well, I guess now it's also kind of for 3D printing, but mostly streaming. How do you like the One Piece show, Shogun? Sea of Stars. I keep needing to be reminded what that is. I feel like I've asked someone to remind me what it is on one of these streams, and if I was told, I remembered, and then I already forgot again. It's a very beautiful, evocative name, though. Sea of Stars is a movie? Or One Piece? Yeah, I don't even know what it's about. Documentary about the artist who created the creature AI. Let's see. Like AI for a game, for a creature in a game, or a creature in the movie AI, or there's a lot of ways to interpret that. Spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger game. Okay, I'm sure I'll forget it again. Alien creatures. Are you talking about Giger, the Dutch artist who designed Alien, the greatest creature design ever designed? I watched a documentary about him a couple years ago. Maybe it was the same one. Yeah. It's just so well done on all levels. Like the world building of it, the biology of it, the aesthetic of it, like everything works to perfection in that creature design. Keep waiting for someone to design a better creature. The closest it's come is Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth, in my mind, who gets equally amazing marks for aesthetics and theme, but because it's like a fairy tale creature and it's all metaphor or whatever, it just like there's no biology to really dig into there. So you know, and that's not a knock against the design. It's a fairy tale creature should not have like be biologically whatever, right, and figure out the life cycle and blah blah blah. So, but to me, that's the closest that anyone's ever come to topping Alien design. Yeah, amazing to think that it's 50 years old, huh? My son got me a Pale Man poster to put on my for my birthday last year. I put it on my door, my bedroom door, so it keeps people away. Stay out. Yeah, I always felt like Predator is overrated. It's a fun idea of like, you know, a creature whose culture is to do big game hunting of humans and other aliens. But the actual design itself, it's kind, you know, it's a guy with an alien face, you know, and a monster face. and he's big and strong, and he's got cool gadgets. So again, like from a conceptual perspective, you know, Batman hunting creatures around the planets, that's great. But yeah, the aesthetic of it is strong, like it's solid. There's nothing to point at and say, oh, that's dumb. It's just, yeah, in my opinion, not up there with the greats. Yeah, I don't know if I'd use the word boring. I would just use the word average. It's standard. Big guy in a suit with a monster face. Which, I mean, you could maybe argue that Alien in one of its forms is also that, but I think there's enough other elements going on. Oh, The Thing. Yeah, The Thing is fantastic. It's kind of a hard one to rate, right? Because it's, you know, it's not consistent. There are many different forms of it that you've seen in different films and such. And a lot of its appeal comes from like a quirk of history, which is that, like, you know, when they did the remake of it in the 80s, you know, the top state-of-the-art effects and gore and creature artist was like worked on it, and so it came up with a lot of really creative, really cool / gross ideas, and it's just a grab bag of like any gross body horror you could think of. Just shove it in this bag, and it is that creature. Like if it had a, and I'm not saying this would be an improvement, but if it had a form that it was always trying to get to, but like, you know, the anatomy of the things it was infecting were, you know, impeding it or adding flavor to it or something, that would be one thing. But it is so just abstract and arbitrary. Like there's no meaningful distinction between when it takes over a human and a dog. I mean, yeah, for sure. Another one where conceptually it's very strong. Thanks, Organic. I would not put my art up there with a Giger or a Stan Winston or a, oh my gosh. Suddenly it starts with a V. What is the guy's name who did all the Thing effects? Vincini? That's not it. Ventricle? No. Although ventricles were involved. Polymorph. Wait, what is polymorph? Tom Savini, that's the word I was looking for. Is that It's not Rob Bottin, is it? Polymorphous from Red Dwarf. Oh, okay. I haven't seen Red Dwarf since like the early 80s, so I do not remember anything about it. The only guy I remember was the hologram guy with an H glued to his forehead. It is Rob? Really? Okay. What did Savini do? Why am I getting these two confused? So it's a British comedy. Does it have a laugh track? Because if it's a British comedy with a laugh track, I cannot do those anymore. Which is sad. I know it knocks a few classics out of the running. I can't watch the IT Zone either. Is that what it's called? IT? Savini is mostly zombie stuff. Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with H.R. Giger. I was trying to figure out who did the creature design of The Thing, the 80s version of The Thing. Not the 50s version of The Thing or the 2000s version of The Thing. The It Crowd, that's the one. Savini, a designer behind Frankenstein Monster? I don't think so. He was mostly working in the 70s and 80s. Frankenstein's Monster is like the 30s or 40s. Unless you're, well, I mean, the universal version. There's obviously been many versions throughout the years, but. Thanks, Organic. Try. The Thing was your gateway into the genre. Okay. Savini still active into the 2000s? I guess that makes sense. I mean, Stan Winston still has been. So. Although Winston is a hard one to nail down because, you know, as the head of the effects shop, he got a lot of credit that, you know, were other people doing most of the actual design. Like the Predator, like my friend Peter worked on the Dragonheart at his shop and on the bugs from Starship Troopers. And you still see articles and stuff that talk about Stan Winston's design for, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, I mean, technically it was like, kind of had final say, like art director sort of thing, but he wasn't the one actually doing most of the work. It's kind of like saying that Miyamoto, you know, does all the Mario and Zelda games. It's like, yeah, he probably pops into the office now and then to give a little feedback here and then, but he's not making those games anymore. It's not like with Elon Musk, where he's actually designing all the rockets and building them himself and personally launching them and flying them to the moon and mining ore and bringing it back for us. Wait, that's what's happening, right? What science fiction do I like? All kinds. I just recently finished a trilogy I really liked by Adrian Tchaikovsky called the Children of Time trilogy. I think that's what it's called. So it's like Children of something, Children of Memory, Children of Time. I really like stuff that dives into alien psychology, especially if it's informed by their biology, because I just find that interesting fodder for speculation. Yeah, I guess you can say he did that, quote unquote. I guess you can say that. As in, like, he was someone with a ton of money who 5 years before other, like, billionaires got around to it, started his thing. But, like, it kind of gets to, like, philosophically, do you ascribe to great man theory of history where, you know, unless this one person did this one thing, history, you know, no one else would have done that thing. It's like, I tend to be on the other side of that philosophical divide, where I think most people are acting according to the culture and society that they're in. And, yeah, like, if Hitler wasn't around, there would have been another guy pretty much just like him doing the same thing. If Musk hadn't decided he wanted to try to have a company that makes rockets, Bezos or what's his nuts or whoever would have done it shortly thereafter. Risked his fortune on it. I mean, that's kind of a... That's one interpretation, and it's certainly what the publicist would say. Dreamer with big dreams. Okay. I guess I don't find anything particularly special about that. There are billions of dreamers with big dreams who didn't inherit emerald mine money and have like multiple chances to fail at stuff, take credit for other people, buy companies, buy people's silence, and then, like, you know, yeah. Let's just say I'm not a fan. If you're a fan, that's fine. You could be a fan. I'm not going to try to talk you out of your fandom. SLS is the biggest scam in history of NASA. You're going to have to remind me what SLS stands for. Shogun, it is an interpretation in that unless you have personal access to his personal finance book, you can't say what he was actually risking. Yeah, the company may have gone under. Lots of billionaires' companies go under, and they're fine. They're always fine. Zuckerberg space industry. I mean, there They're all going to be awful in different ways. I met a guy at a party just this weekend who works at Blue Origin for Bezos's thing, and he was talking about how amazing it is to like work at a place that has such a super long-term vision that is not beholden to, you know, the next quarter's profits or whatever. Like, their timelines are in the decades, not quarterly, you know, earnings reports or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's super important for people to be taking moonshots and trying to do things that are not necessarily economically viable. I think Zuckerberg trying to make the metaverse is great. You know, I don't think he's going to do it, but lessons will be learned along the way. Technologies, tools, processes will be developed. As with all moonshots. Well, not all. Most moonshots. Yes, organic. Those are all my art I've made throughout the years. Who is the everyone who is laughing at SpaceX? Because my what is the word I'm looking for? My friends who are really into space stuff and like follow the topic, I remember 15 years ago them talking about reusable rockets, and I mean, they were also talking about space elevators, right? It's like there's always technologies that seem to be just over the horizon given the right, you know, material science breakthroughs or whatever. I'm sure NASA had a vested interest in dismissing whatever SpaceX was doing as a, you know, a big, probably bloated government organization. They have a lot to lose if private industry catches up and surpasses them. So if that's what you mean by everyone was laughing at them, meaning like there was some comms from NASA that were dismissive, or people who work at NASA that were dismissive, I'll buy that. But I had never was exposed to any of the like, oh my god, what a ridiculous thing they're trying to do. Reusable rockets? Who would have ever thought of it? It's like, no, that's been thought of for many decades. It's just waiting for the right investment and a company that could bear the brunt of the losses that would be required to get to that point. Oh yeah, Star Wars is one of my favorite. Okay, Star Wars is my favorite franchise, but Lord of the Rings is my favorite movies. Like by a wide, to the point where I don't even bother comparing other movies to them because nothing has ever come close in my mind. But I do love Star Wars quite a bit. But I really have to focus on pushing forward my own franchise. I got to minimize the amount of work I'm doing on just like fan art. Otherwise, I can't get my own thing done. Many astrophysicists were publicly criticizing them for chasing that. Okay. I believe you. I just had not experienced it. I guess the filter bubble of my particular friend group were not exposing me to those particular feedbacks is. Game dev number 1, astrophysics number 2. Oh, wow. You should try to get a job at, I already forgot the name of the place. I applied there for a lead designer position, the Kerbal Space Program people, because they're making a, like, science-based adventure game at the same time. I had concerns given the resources they had and the amount they were willing to pay. A lead designer was not industry standard, and it seemed like I actually talked to a guy who works there. I just ran into him at an industry function, and I was kind of feeling him out about that. I was like, ooh, I don't know about this. But I don't know. I think they were willing to do work from home. How do I do all that I do? The secret is to have kids when you're 20, and then all that time that you spent on your kids, once they're grown, you just have all this free time all of a sudden, and then I just spend it all on this kind of stuff. But there's also a lot of things I don't do, like almost any social outings. Except for that last one I mentioned, where I coincidentally ran into a guy who works at Blue Origin and a guy who's the CEO of a fusion power company in my area. I got good nerdy friends. Good nerdy networks. I had just listened to a podcast from the Naked Scientist podcast where they were talking about fusion power, and they had like a scientist who worked at one of these companies that's working to develop it, and then a critic of it saying probably can't actually work. So naturally, as a very socially intelligent person, when the CEO of the fusion company said what he did, I was like, oh man, I was just listening to a podcast where they said what you're trying to do is ridiculous. He took it well though. He said that once you get to the point where you've got second and third parties arguing over the viability of what you're doing, you know you've made it. It's like, all right, that's one way to address that kind of critique. I mean, what is he going to do? Argue with some rando at a party who looks like me? I wouldn't do that. Shogun, you are not too dumb to work on a science-themed adventure game. Although I don't know, are you open to working on games that are not pixel art? Or is that kind of your niche, your specialty, and that's all you'll ever do? Yes, another Nate. I mean, that is the more common trajectory these days. It was always funny going to, school events for my kids and seeing like all the parents being 10 or 20 years older than me. Like I was picking my kid up from high school once, and multiple teachers were asking me if I was a new student. Oh man, Skyrim. What a time that was. So curious to see how the next Elder Scrolls game turns out. You lose 20 years without without your beard? Oh man. Shogun Kerbal is not a AAA studio. It's a AA studio at best. They're practically an indie studio. And I'm really annoyed that I can't remember the name of the studio now. Welcome back, Fizz. I'm gonna buy my book, signed edition, on your next payday. Yeah, if you want a signed edition, you gotta buy it from my Etsy store. Maybe someday it'll be worth $1 billion trillion because it's like a first edition. It's got all the errors and stuff that I'm correcting in the second edition. Not errors that anyone will notice, but I know they're there. That's right. Fizz manages my Etsy shop, so if you buy it from there, you're gonna make Fizz have to do some work Oh my God. So I feel like there's a link in the description. Let me double check to see if that's true. Is that true? Discord. Mailing list, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Okay, it's the very last link. Yeah, see, but she's asking about a signed book. There you go. That's the right one. Oh, and I also said she. I don't know why. I made an assumption. It's because the word moon is in the name. And you know, only girls can be moons. So I apologize if I misgendered you. You've not found a single mistake in them? Now, I know that's not true. Oh, yeah. For anyone who's watching this Sunday at somewhere between noon and 1 Pacific Standard Time, we're going to be doing another world building stream on my Twitch channel. Not here on the YouTube channel, on my Twitch channel, which you can also find at Josh Foreman. If you look up Josh Foreman on Twitch, you should be able to find me. It's my co-author Rose. We'll be talking world building, story development. I'll probably be working on the map. Yeah, you can definitely ask her about that book. Taught yourself DOS. I remember learning DOS. Well, I remember trying to learn DOS, but like I said, I'm not very technical, so I utterly failed at it. I remember thinking, man, these computer things are not for me. To type command line prompts to open programs? What is this garbage? If you look at the side of your first book, the titles are centered, and I think the book is slightly slanted? What? I wonder if it's just a particular run of the books, because they are print on demand. The files are certainly straight. Well, I shouldn't say certainly anything. I'm never certain of anything, but my guess would have to do with the actual print. Send me a picture with a ruler next to it so I can see what you mean. Because if there's serious noticeable quality issues, I will ask for reprints Basic and draw at summer school in 5th grade. Wow. There was some art program. So my mom basically, because I was homeschooled, you know, she would get hire tutors essentially for stuff that she didn't know about, such as computers, or didn't know enough about. And, you know, I'm sure she told him, Josh wants to be an artist. What can you teach him about art on the computer? And so it was all about trying to figure out how to make a, you know, mid 80s computer do anything artistic. Ugh. Lots of fill buckets and dots and vectors. Choosing from up to 8 colors. It just broke into Langley Air Force. Oh my. You work remotely? Yeah, me too. I personally like working remotely, but okay. But when you said tilted, I wonder if that has to do with the number of pages. Because we calculated the width of the spine based on the number of pages. There's like a calculator built into their website to do that. And I wonder if I either miscalculated or... Oh, there's a second image. Yeah, I think that's subtle enough. It's within tolerance. But I will bear that, especially in mind for future editions. A few empty pages at the end of the first book. I mean, I don't think I tried to have empty pages, but also there are all sorts of options and stuff, and it was my first time self-publishing and laying out a book and blah blah blah, so for all I know I did something wrong and made it that way. Yeah, I think it's most likely a press issue. Eventually I want to be like Brandon Sanderson and have my own press, make all my own books. That's the dream. You have one empty page at the back? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not empty. There's an amazing sky out there.
Ready?
I'm ready. Wow. Pretty amazing.
I just did my TikTok video.
Let me show the stream.
Of course, you're gonna have to restart it. I have photos. That photo's easier. It's blowing out the pink. You can't even see it.
Yeah.
Wait, here.
Trust us, it's very pink. Oh.
There.
Oh, look at that. Get it closer. There you go.
It's pinker though and bluer than that.
Trust us, everyone.
Finally put together the rainy day TikTok, and that took forever. But look, on the trail today, check this one out. So dumb. We did. Oh, Anna, like before she got there, she went to Starbucks, and Starbucks now has like their ice. You can get their iced chai tea latte, but they put the pumpkin cold brew foam on top of it or something.
Okay.
And so on my way back, I decided to go get one. What was that?
It's Fizz yelling at me to focus.
Oh, Fizz is here. Oh, like that freaked me out. It was so good. Oh my god. It was so freaking good. And we saw a baby squirrel pass by.
Yes, organic. That's my little wifey Heather, which you can kind of see through the light.
Whoa!
That's her medal. There you go. Everyone, introducing Heather. Wow, it goes so long.
That was way too long. I could only do it for like a good second and a half. And then it hurts my voice.
Make a mix. Oh my god, that would be
Fizz,
that'd be torture.
Did Fizz record?
No, he's saying he should.
Hi, Fizz.
You could probably sell that mixtape to Guantanamo Bay. Sorry to scare you, Shogun.
What is that? Asbestos?
This? No, it's the epoxy clay I'm working on. Fizz says hey.
I know, I said hey, Fizz.
Oh, and organic is letting you know that I'm a great artist.
Oh.
So now you know.
Is he though?
See?
I don't know.
She's not convinced. I mean, I am just working on a dumb rock. I've been working on dumb rocks for like 6 months, so.
I haven't really seen anything too impressive, but, you know, just this.
I mean, it just looks like a rock.
This. But on the plus side, I'm burping up pumpkin spice.
Yes. Always look on the bright side.
I need to eat something, like actual rolled food today, because yesterday I had like a string cheese and then like 2 rounds of flaming hot potato chips with a ton of salt and lime And then like three nacho? Three
bites
chips
of
of your
nacho.
nachos.
Yeah. What more could you want?
And then 2 tangerines. And I was like still hungry. I wonder why. And so I ate regular potato chips with a ranch just to shut my stomach up so I can get tired. That is pathetic. So mostly I had chips, lime juice, and salt, and some cheese. That's all well, and 2 limes.
Yeah, Fizz thinks there's something wrong with you for burping up pumpkin spice. Or maybe just for liking it. I don't know. He's just judgmental. So.
That's fine. It's not for everybody.
Hear that, Fizz? It's not for everybody. You're not special enough to appreciate it. You just don't get it, do you?
I did 4.4 miles.
That's a lot of walking.
And I was starting off with pain. So I was like, we should turn around. So I'm gonna go.
Okay. I'll wrap up here. And
Did you have anything for dinner, or like, is it just salad?
I don't have any solid plans. So if you have any, let me know. Pumpkin is awful.
I wish I didn't have.
It's not about the pumpkin, Fizz. It's about the spice.
Yeah,
Spice
they
is
put
life.
cinnamon
Spice makes
on it.
space travel possible.
It was so good. Remember, it was mostly, it was a chai tea latte.
Chai tea. Chai tea?
Chai.
Chai tea. Redundant because chai
With-
means tea. Did you know that?
Yes, with 1 pump less of the concentrate.
Okay.
Whole milk.
Okay. Now everyone knows. All right. We're going to call it for tonight. Maybe back tomorrow. We'll see. Yes, and nice to meet you as well. Organic Silver Moon Designs, LLG. Hope to see you again. And to everyone else, have a good evening or morning or afternoon. But no other times of the day. Just those ones. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody. Bye.